What's going on, people, and welcome back to Kop Ultras Podcast. So, it's deadline day. Not really it's deadline day. I mean, deadline day is looming. So, basically, our club is sort of like right into the thick of it. And the two huge names that which are constantly under our radars right now for sort of like these past few months is Alexander Isak from Newcastle and Marc Guéhi from Crystal Palace. So let's get into all the drama and the action and what's going on and how we look to sign these guys, Isak and Guehi before transfer deadline day. So let's get into the biggest one of them all, Alexander Isak. So he has been basically the headline story of the summer, no doubt about it. He's made it clear that he wants out of Newcastle and he wants to join Liverpool, the Premier League champions. Uh, and basically, he's doing everything that he wants to push and force his way out of Newcastle. So I don't need to get too much into that. I think basically you guys know what's been happening. So our first bid has already been rejected, and then now there is a strong possibility that we might put in a second bid and enter into negotiations with Newcastle. So breaking the British transfer record, I think we've done it once with Florian Wirtz. So doing it a second time is not going to be an issue. PSR not going to be an issue for Liverpool. In terms of that, we are fine. Financially, we are very stable. So for us to go after Isak is a we can make quick work of Alexander Isak, just making sure that the fee is a reasonable fee, even though it's not straight up to 150. Most probably, we would bid somewhere along the region of 130 million British pounds, I guess, including the add-ons, would add up to somewhere around 140 million. So now the big news that has surfaced today morning, I think when I woke up and I took up my phone and I was looking at it and I went, finally Newcastle have found a striker. So I think that would be sort of like the heavens have opened up for Newcastle, and finally they can find that sort of like replacement, which is very, very surprising looking at that particular name. So the Newcastle have finally signed Nick Woltemade. It could be Nick Woltemade. You guys can figure out how you guys want to call him. He plays as a striker for Stuttgart. So the main stumbling block was for Newcastle was to find that replacement striker. So I think basically they've already found their replacement. So this in turn could open up the door for Isak's exit from Newcastle and to join us.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
Everybody, calm down.
But ideally, yes, Newcastle are also trying to see if they can get another striker. But I don't think it would be feasible for them to do that, looking at the number of days which is available for them to find another striker to basically replace Isak. Now, before the window slams shut, we are going to pay for a substantial amount. Now, something about Nick Woltemade that I want to mention to you guys, it's basically hijacked by Newcastle, if I'm not mistaken. I think there is a agreement between Bayern Munich and Nick Woltemade that once the season ends and the next year's summer transfer window opens, he would sign ideally for Bayern Munich for a number of fee, which I'm not very sure. But Newcastle are signing him for somewhere around 65 to 69 million, so could be somewhere lower than that. But initially, he did have that agreement with Bayern Munich. I think his head would have been turned because of Newcastle's participation in the Champions League this season. And since Newcastle, I think the way they've already presented their project, and I think with the discussion with Eddie Howe, I think Nick Woltemade has a change of heart and he's got his head turned. So I think ideally what Eddie Howe would have mentioned is that he would be sort of like the main man at Newcastle, and hopefully he can be that for Newcastle as well, and so they can move on from Alexander Isak. I'm not trying to be very one-sided here, but at the same time, looking at the morale of the team as a whole, of the squad of Newcastle, I think it's highly necessary that they do their best to try to find a replacement and offload Isak as well. So He did have an agreement with Bayern Munich, and I think Newcastle sort of like swooped in, had a discussion with him, and said, "These are the projects that we have. These personal terms, I think, won't not be an issue." Um, and I think he's got his head turned, and I think at the same time, Woltemade does not want to wait until next year to join Bayern Munich and then play Champions League football. So I think that is a big turning point in this transfer saga, basically for Isak. So with that being said, I think we can wait and wait and see when Liverpool will be putting in that bid. I think personal terms with Isak will not be an issue. Michael Hughes is very good on that part. I think that will not be an issue. But then the fees is a little bit of an obstacle. But I think that would be sort of like handled in terms of like add-ons. So they would try to give a base fee a slight lesser than what Newcastle are asking for, and then there will be some impossible targets to be achieved in turn where add-ons would come into play. So that's how it is for Alexander Isak. And now let's turn our attention to our centre-back target, which is Marc Guéhi from Crystal Palace. Now, we are basically trying to strengthen our defense. So Marc Guéhi is the viable option that we are looking at to strengthen our defense in the centre back positions. And basically, Crystal Palace value him somewhere around about 35 to 40 million. I would say higher than that as well. That's how much they value Marc Guéhi. Yes, they've already let Eze join Arsenal. Somewhere around the same region as well. But for them to let go of their captain is not very easy. And at the same time, his contract is also ending. I mean, his contract is expiring next season. So I think basically Crystal Palace do not want to let go of Marc Guéhi without a substantial fee in place. And I think they are sort of like looking at the bigger picture, and hopefully they can find a replacement as well before they let Marc Guéhi leave. So it's a very crucial few days for Liverpool and also for Newcastle. Not just say Liverpool and Newcastle, for Liverpool and Crystal Palace as well. I think Marc Guéhi, for me personally, he's a very good defender, a very commanding centre back. He always loves to play the ball from his position, from the centre back position all the way up. He's sort of like in the Joel Matip sort of a mold, but he's a little bit more tougher than that, and he's really good in the air, very good in tackles. So he can provide that proper challenge for Konate in the centre back position. So we know like Van Dijk is there, he's the namestay, he's going to be there. But we also need to understand that Van Dijk is somewhere around the twilight of his career. So hopefully, in these 2 years that Van Dijk is going to be around, he can provide us that high level of performance, which we always know Van Dijk does. But at the same time, you have to see Konate, on the other hand, has been very shaky around lately in these past few games. I think, yes, we have already signed Giovanni Leone. He is a good signing, but one for the future. Definitely Guehi can come into this Liverpool side and provide that more of like stability and sort of like strengthen the centre back position. So that is it's a very important puzzle in Arne Slot's squad in this season for Liverpool. So basically, I just want you guys to imagine this. Now, Isak joining Words and Ekitike up front, while Guehi sort of like adds that steel, and then you have Konate, and then you have Van Dijk, and then not to mention you also have Mo Salah in there as well. You have Cody Gakpo, who have a good midfield in Soboslai, McAllister, Gravenberg. So you have all these different pieces. You have this good multifunctional players. So just imagine. So I think Liverpool are actually transforming from that whole sort of like not to say the high pressing, but sort of like this wing play from the sides, get the crosses in. Rather than playing like that, they want to play a little bit more central, but all over the park as well. So it's very exciting to watch. It's going to be a transformational Liverpool team, one that we have been waiting for a long time. Post the Klopp, I mean, even in the Klopp era, but then post Klopp era, I think the Arne Slot era is taking full force, and we can see a lot of changes and a lot of big names coming up in our team, a lot of players stepping up. And, we also have senior players like Van Dijk and Salah almost at the twilights of their careers. So the sort of like the morphing and the transition period of this Liverpool team post Salah and Van Dijk, 2 years, 3 years from now, I think we can see the likes of Cody Gakpo, Ekitike, Wirtz, Isak over there in Gravenberg. So it's a sort of like a very different approach that we are going to go into come this season and also the seasons after this. So with that being said, we've already spent some big this summer. Our ambitions are very clear, and we're going to go for all the trophies this season. And we are not going to keep any stone unturned this season. And I'm hoping that we can put in a good shout for the Premier League title. I mean, that is the main thing that I'm looking at. And then I'll go for the Champions League, which we sorely missed last season. And then definitely at all the other domestic trophies. Ideally, I'm looking at our young players to come up and make a name for themselves. So Liverpool are not going to stop at being champions last season. We are going to go for everything this season. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. Hit the like button and also share and subscribe and click on the bell icon as well so that you guys can get the notifications when I upload this video. I'll also post this video on TikTok as well, so you guys can head on over there and engage with me over there as well, and also on YouTube as well. You guys can give me your thoughts and on how Liverpool are going to fare this season in the Premier League. In the whole football season this season. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon for most probably the preview for Liverpool versus Arsenal at Anfield. So till then, take care, and you'll never walk alone, guys.